Well, hi, just going to go over what I learned in this the math unit that I did here for the integration, classroom integration of tech class. My plan was that I wanted to do a social studies unit, and I had a good idea. I wanted to develop, the pledge and why we do things and have a vote in class and things like that. I have done things like that, but I wanted to develop it more. And then I realized, whoa, hold on a minute. This is a big bit of time right now, and I've got a lot going on preparing my kids for RISE and things like that for their first time. So I decided I'm just going to do what I'm already teaching, and that ended up being a blessing right there when I stopped and said, let's just use what I'm already teaching. So I had a fractions unit coming up, and that's what I just decided to focus my time on. I thought the kids would benefit most from that. So I went over and I did all of the fraction standards and objectives, which are just 3 NF 1 through 3 for third grade. My essential question: can I understand that fractions are partial numbers and how they interact or compare with whole numbers? So I had my 4-week lessons there, and every week I used at least 1, 2, or more of technology. So I used a Padlet here the first week. And for the Padlet, I just wanted to ask them, what's a numerator and what's a denominator? And I was really surprised when I got down here and nobody had any idea, not even. I thought they might have a small inkling because sometimes I had kind of mentioned it, but not in depth or anything, wasn't really teaching it. When I mentioned that they had to put something and I happened to say, oh, it looks like so-and-so put opposite, next thing I know I had 15 people writing opposites. So I erased some of those and told them to write something different. And if they didn't know, to write that they didn't know. So that was good. I had some people make a good guess, but it was an eye-opener that really nobody had any idea what a numerator and a denominator were. Some other technology that we used was an Educandy for vocabulary. We watched a video on numerators and denominators. We did an ABC YA equivalent fractions bingo, and I'll show you that down here. Oh, that's my Educandy vocabulary picture. I just took a picture of that really quick. The ABC YA has a bingo. It had a really big bingo board, and that was just way too hard. And I think I discovered when I did this, my kids weren't quite ready to do it, so I'll probably adapt it for the next time I change it. But it always depends on the kids and where the kids are actually at too. And this group of kids just wasn't ready when I actually taught it at this time. Go back up here. I ended up working, there was a fractions pirate game where we played and compared fractions. That was a lot of fun. We made a kite for equivalent fractions. We have a kite activity, which I'll be adding my picture to this document shortly. And we redid the original Kahoot and figured out what a numerator and a denominator were, and that was really interesting. And then we did a pizza fractions Jeopardy game, which was a lot of fun. And here's the Jeopardy game down here. And the kids love playing Jeopardy. And they did not know how to add or subtract fractions, but you can see they used that column up really quickly. They were excited to do that. They figured it out and they were like, I gotta do this. So what I've learned is that overall this has been a great project for me, not just this unit, but the whole thing. But when I laid it all out like this, because in my plan book, I'm only looking at a week at a time, not like a whole month or per se. And I was able to see that I really use a lot of technology on my own anyway, so I didn't feel that, I guess that I added anything more than I usually would. But when I was at first, I was trying to add more technology, and what I did realize is that there's not a reason to force it. Use technology when you need it, and if you don't need it, you don't have to use it. Because even though we are going to be everything, they're going to be driving trucks and things from, or they already do, from a room somewhere, and it's going through a town in New York. That's great, but still people are going to have to know how to do things the good old-fashioned pen and paper way too. So I think if you don't have if you feel like you don't need to use technology, or gee, what can I do? Maybe that's a point where you don't need to use it. That's all there is to it. Can you use more? Yeah, definitely. But do what you feel comfortable using. For myself, I already use a lot because I just graduated from UVU 3 years ago, and I feel like they taught me really well on using computers and things like that with my lessons. So it wasn't a very far stretch for me. What this endorsement has taught me is that I'm actually just like trying to keep up with what's going on. Things are already changing in the 3 years, and I'm just keeping up. That's all. I've learned about a couple more programs and stuff, but pretty much it's been what I have just recently learned. So that's been good, though, because it stays in the front of my mind. I ended up doing my transformation here, my website. Let me go to my home page here. So I have my home page that tells all about me and how I became a fourth-year teacher at the age of 55. I have a video that I've made down here that I actually did in my storybook story writing class that I took for the endorsement, which was a lot of fun, but it's a whole story on how I became a teacher so late in life, and I thought it would be fun to have a page like that. Then I went ahead and put in my teaching philosophy, and everybody has philosophies, short or long, but mine's really pretty short, and I added to it for the video, but pretty much any student can learn, and it's my job to figure out what method I need to teach or how I can get it across to them, because everybody can learn. Some are fast, some are slow, but everybody can learn, and it's my job to get it there for them. So that's what my goal is, and that's what I believe as a teacher. I have transformation here, and that's the page where I'm telling all about what I did with these activities and things. It's still under construction a little bit, but under this I put in some other things. I put in some digital citizenship stuff that I have done either for this class or other classes. I've done some other things here. I put in the HyperDoc that we made, so that was fun. This isn't it, that's just a picture that I used, but I've got the HyperDoc that I made. Our flipped learning video. Whoops, which I guess I hit the wrong button there. And that was a little interesting. I found out that third grade, it can be a problem for us. Not all of our kids have technology. Parents are busy. Do I have to expect them to go to a library? What do I do if they don't have technology? So we're still trying to talk about that as a grade level. And then I've had some fun things from the gamification class that I've taken here, and I just put those in just as a reminder of some things that I could use. And I will have my whole tech integration lesson put right in here. So overall, this has been a great journey for me, and it's been fun to have all these things in one place of where I am. I can go back and review and see what's there. So I've learned a lot doing this, but the biggest thing to me is that I don't need to force technology. Use it where it's appropriate. That's how I feel about it. So anyway, thanks for this opportunity to take this course, and we'll see everybody in the next one probably.